let everyone know on the call today that you can see we're reaching out to your counties. So we hope you in turn are going to turn to your county as a resource to learn more about what's going on at your local level and how you can get involved at that stage or at that level. So October 28th, we had all the counties come together, and then November 1st was a really exciting day for us at RevolutionNJ because Governor Murphy, as you can see there, and Lieutenant Governor Way officially launched our state activities here for RevolutionNJ at Monmouth Battlefield. What a appropriate spot to do that. We debuted the video that you just saw, and the governor registered his full support and enthusiasm for what we are doing in terms of preparing our state for the 250th and getting ready to welcome visitors, as well as serve our residents here with programming, commemoration, and celebrations. You'll see there that we do have a new ad there, that revolutionary in 1776 and ever since. And you are going to be seeing that in different versions throughout the next year as we work to spread the word about what we're up to. So this slide is incredibly important. So I do want to encourage you all to stop your emailing or texting if that's what you're doing and pay close attention. One of our signature programs for RevolutionNJ is History Happened Here, a program aimed at middle and high school students. The goal here is to get students digging back into the foundational ideals of the American Revolution. So justice, equality, self-determination, the pursuit of happiness, and liberty. Really to dig into those, what they mean, and then to go out and do original research on their own communities and develop projects that illustrate how those ideals have impacted their own communities. We have had 6 schools piloting this program over the fall semester. And the picture you see here, I hope you can pick out First Lady Tammy Murphy there holding up the Murphy #1 t-shirt that the students presented her with. This is one of our 6 pilot schools, Monroe Township. These students did a fantastic job illustrating for us what they've been doing, the research they've been doing, the learning that they've been undertaking. So we're tremendously excited and encouraged about this program. It is going to roll out this spring when we'll get get schools to sign up to participate, and then it will be implemented in September. So the next school year, the 25-26 school year. Now, I want to just put a big exclamation point on this for all of you who are at historic sites, libraries, archives, because this is a tremendous opportunity for all of you to engage with middle and high school students. We have put out an invitation to you already in our monthly newsletter to add your list to the name of museums, historic sites, libraries, archives that would like to be resources to students involved in this program. This program does require that students make at least one in-person visit to a museum, historic site, library, or archive. So this is a golden opportunity for all of those organizations to build and strengthen those ties with your local middle and high schools. So I do want to encourage you to respond to our invitation, sign up to be one of those schools that welcome students. So far, only 13 sites have responded to our invitation, and I am absolutely certain that there are many more than 13 sites that would like to be involved in this. So please circle back to our newsletter. It's got the link in there. We'll try to post that link in the chat here in today's program as well. So, and I'm happy to answer questions about that if you have them. So let me hand it back now to my colleague, Carrie.
I think, Sarah, I'm hopping in on this one. This one's an
Yep.
exciting program update that we've had. Our director of the African American History Program, Noelle Lorraine Williams, partnered with Revolution NJ to kind of bring together a couple of interesting resources out there to kind of explore the legacy of Revolution NJ in a larger window. So the first webinar that she hosted with some scholars that you can see listed in the top right there was Who's American Revolution? And it kind of looked at the legacy of the American Revolution and of what independence looked like for countries around the British Commonwealth. And her second webinar she had was November 13th, Researching Black Liberation in New Jersey and the Revolutionary War. We partnered with James and Memisor from the New Jersey Historical Society and Rutgers University Newark to work on a bibliography that highlights all the different resources available currently related to African Americans, Indigenous, and women and children during the Revolutionary War period. You'll see a link to the bibliography listed here. It's a resource that's available on our website additionally that demonstrates all of the research that James and Noel did together. And then we had a webinar discussing this research with James and Dr. David, or Daniel, right. And then you'll see a story map that was created, taking some of the material from the bibliography and putting it into a program that takes the geographic locations of the sites, but also allows us to deep dive into a couple of the resources that are cited. Um, Both of these are very useful if you're trying to expand the sort of interpretations you're doing at your site. And you might also come and find out that there's some stories at your site that you might not be telling looking at this bibliography. So please take a look at it. If you have any questions regarding them, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to work through with the bibliography. And also those recordings of the webinars are on our YouTube page, which are going to be linked in the chat right now. Thank you, Sophia, for doing that. We are also super busy since our last quarterly update. I think the last one was October 8th. So a lot has happened in the past 3 or 4 months, including a host of different conferences that we attended and presented at. This is a picture of us at the NJEA conference, which was in Atlantic City. We tend to try to attend all of the major conferences in the state, but we're also presenting um, at different conferences for the history community and the tourism community. So we were at December 11th, we're at the NJTIA conference. Ashley Abruzzo from Crossroads did a great presentation on heritage tourism and tapping into that big 2026 moment where Revolution NJ is going to be active, but also World Cup is going to be in the area and how communities can tap into that. Another exciting announcement for us is that the historical marker program, the statewide historic marker program, is starting to host its community meetings and surveys, both of which I believe are closed now, but we are always taking feedback and listening to the public on what should be included in the consideration for a new statewide historic marker program. This one is in addition to the Black Heritage Trail, which is currently being ran, as you probably have seen. This also asked folks to just kind of consider what they would want to see out of this historic marker program. We're in this position where in the state's history during the 1930s and 40s and also in the 60s, there was markers that were put up. Some of these are now damaged and need restoration. But then there's also a wealth of sites that don't have markers and stories that haven't been told. So we went around the state and asked folks for their opinions on what they would like to see. And then we held a online survey. This is the work being done by Rachel Timke on the New Jersey Historic Commission staff. So we are working closely with the public's feedback, but also with what we're learning from the Black Heritage Trail on creating a new marker program for the state. And you'll see some interesting data from our surveys online that folks were kind of interestingly split between wanting new markers and old markers. Folks who are in the history field and not in the history field that took part of the survey, and then also what time periods and topical interests there were. But keep an eye out for more on this. We are working currently on taking all this information and now moving forward with fabricating markers. and that opening portal will be announced soon. And then also on our hectic December and November schedule was an amazing event that we held. It was the annual history conference, which took one of our key themes from Revolution NJ, which was political participation, and explored the history of political participation in New Jersey. We had a amazing opening with Governor Phil Murphy giving us an introduction, followed by a keynote from Dr. Elizabeth Maddow from the Eagleton Institute of Politics at Rutgers University. And Simon Galperin from the Jersey Bee was our moderator. And we had a whole day full of full of sessions and panels and networking opportunities. And we were excited to really hear about the great work that's going on in New Jersey and hearing some new research that's also been released. Additionally, since our last meeting, the last quarterly update, we've had 3 tavern talks going throughout the state. We were in Woodstown, New Jersey, down in Salem County. Then we held an event at Fort Nonsense Brewing in Randolph with our special guest, the Lieutenant Governor, Taisha Way, and Assemblywoman Laura Dunn. And then we had our first pop-up of the tavern talks at the First Presbyterian with River Horse Brewing generously coming over and doing a pop-up with us in the First Presbyterian space. We're going to be continuing the tavern talks as we move forward with the next year and a half before 2026 gets here. And we'll have our spring schedule released soon. We are working now on the final details. And then we are obviously still open with working with other sites and folks who would want to bring a tavern talks to a microbrewery in their community. Please reach out to us. Sophia, can you please drop my contact information in the chat for folks to reach out if they were interested in doing a tavern talk. I'm going to pass this off to Carrie now. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Mark. So as you all know, we had 4 races last year or maybe you don't all know, but I'll tell you, we had 4 races from our Revolutionary Racing Series last year at Princeton Battlefield State Park, Monmouth Battlefield State Park, East Jersey Old Town Village, and our last one was at November 9th at Greenwich. And thank you, Cumberland County Historical Society, for hosting and for everybody who participated. I wasn't able to be there, but all the reports were this was the most gorgeous place to run that anyone could think of. We are going forward with a race series in 2025. We are kind of changing some things we do on the back end, but so we don't have hard dates yet, but we're working on those. So we're looking for a sponsor, and our development director is working on that. And we're also getting ready for some events this spring and summer. So keep an eye on our social media and our website, and we'll keep you updated on what the schedule is going to be for that. And then the other thing that I'm going to report on, Mark, if you'll advance, is Patriots Week and our 10 crucial days recap. This was a lot. If you followed our socials, you'll know how involved we were with these things. First, a big shout out to Trisha Fagan, who is working with Treasury and the City of Trenton to really lead up Patriots Week. And she had an amazing run of events. So it started with the Washington's Landing rehearsal on December 9th. It was unfortunately a dry one. There was no crossing because the river was super low, but the water came up beautifully in time with all the rain for the December 25th reenactment that included the full water crossing. At the rehearsal event on the 9th, there was a wonderful model of the new visitor center that the Park Service is building at Washington Crossing, New Jersey. And right now, the ground is broken and they're working on foundation work and some of the, the stuff that you don't see once the building gets up. But it's very exciting what is going on over there. So we're super thrilled to have that happening and to see what's going to happen over there. Our communications team, led by Mike Keeler, successfully enlisted the Photographic Society of New Jersey and some other volunteers that took some amazingly beautiful photos of Patriots Week events and the Battle of Trenton. So kudos to the Trenton Downtown Association, City Hall, and the Old Barracks for all of their work on those events. And again, Trisha for pulling it all together and making a cohesive whole. The events wound up with over 1,200 spectators on a very brisk morning at Princeton Battlefield State Park watching the reenactment. And then following the reenactment of the Battle of Princeton was a very moving wreath-laying ceremony that commemorated those lost in the conflict, and also remembering and thanking the late Al Pochek, a U.S. veteran and a photographer, for his many years of service to the living history community before he died unexpectedly. And then in January, just in case, we thought we were slowing down, we were delighted to facilitate the January meeting of the U.S. Semi-Quincentennial Committee in New Jersey. The governor and first lady hosted a reception at Drumthwacket with remarks from both, as well as Lieutenant Governor Tahisha Way, Rosie Rios, who's the chair of the commission, and also remarks by Congresswoman Bonnie Watson-Coleman, as this took place in her district, the 12th. In the morning, the next morning after the reception, about 20 or so brave souls came out in freezing temperatures and wind for a battlefield tour of the new signage at Princeton Battlefield State Park that was designed and produced by one of our good colleagues and organizationally, the American Battlefield Trust. So check that out if you haven't seen it yet. It's really, really cool. And then in the afternoon, Sarah and I were pleased to be able to present again to the commission a status update on RevolutionNJ, and just a little pat on all of our backs for everybody who's working on RevNJ, and that includes all of you. New Jersey is the only state to have been able to present to America 250 twice.
Gary, can I just butt in here with one
Absolutely.
Shout out, because I see that Will Krakauer is here with us this afternoon.
Oh, yes, Will gave a fabulous presentation. Yeah, if y'all haven't visited Princeton Battlefield State Park, thank you, Sarah, for that. Will is an unbelievably dynamic and passionate interpreter. He's the resource interpretive specialist at Princeton Battlefield State Park. He really brings it to you. You can feel yourself there. Go listen to his tour. He's amazing.
Yes, he wowed our visitors from America 250.
Absolutely wowed them. Yeah, they were all talking about it afterwards. And then moving next into announcements, and I'm going to throw this. This is still me. I'm throwing this back to myself. One of our announcements is RevolutionNJ's collaboration with our colleagues at the American Battlefield Trust, who I just mentioned. They did this wonderful work at Princeton, and building on that work, they pitched to us this fantastic idea that we are on, which is producing the New Jersey portion of the Liberty Trail app. And what is the Liberty Trail app? There is a link to it right now. There's not a lot of New Jersey on there. What this will do is develop GPS-enabled tours for 5 key Revolutionary War sites and events, and create interpretive content for each stop. And our role is to work with their staff to ensure historical accuracy and user engagement. This is the first phase of anticipated a 3-phase project. The first phase includes Monmouth Battlefield, HMS Blue Mountain Valley Boarding, Fort Lee, Morristown, and Red Bank Battlefield, which will include the White Owl House and Fort Mercer. So in phase 1, we'll be adding about 40 historic sites to the app, highlighting sites that encourage a broader exploration of New Jersey's Revolutionary War heritage across time, place, and theme. And then ensure that, obviously, the selected sites that we're going to be promoting maintain consistent visitor hours, because obviously we want to promote something that people will be able to visit when they're checking it out. We'll also be adding about 20 biographies to the app, representing the diverse cultures represented in New Jersey in the period and today, as New Jersey's always most culturally interesting state. And we'll also be leveraging RevNJ's bibliographic resources that are all available on the revnj.org website to help ensure some depth and inclusivity, and fostering a more comprehensive nature of the Revolutionary War. So our goal is really to present this not just as battlefield sites, although that is the main mission of the ABT, but also the related civilian sites and sites that just have some representative interest in the revolutionary period, and kind of how the revolutionary themes carried through in history. As we go on, we'll be looking for the addition of heritage tourism-minded itineraries in this style that will expand beyond those that are already in place. So we're super excited about this. It's early days, but we're hoping to have phase 1 up by the end of June, kind of around the Battle of Monmouth time. So, and then the next 2 phases will also come out this year, but I'm not ready to release those dates yet because they're still a little soft. But everything should be completed this year, all 3 phases. So super exciting. It's a big project, and we're just absolutely thrilled that we're working on this with ABT. And Sarah.
So we really should have a drum roll here for this next slide because we're very, very proud to announce that we have reached a couple of milestones here. We have 200 proud partners now. And we've got a little spotlight note there on East Brunswick Symphony Orchestra. They put in a wonderful application. And we just want all of you to know that we're getting a diversity of groups signing up as partners. It's not all history organizations, it's arts organizations, community service organizations, a real variety, which is really what we're looking for. So if you are with an organization that has not yet signed up, now is the time. Help us reach that 300 goal. That'll be our next milestone. On the other side of the slide here, you'll see we've also just reached 100 RevolutionNJ communities. I believe our newest is Paulsboro in Gloucester County. So again, if your community has not yet signed up, now is the time to do it. Momentum is definitely building. One reminder that we want to always add here is if you are with a municipality and you pass a resolution, we have a sample resolution online for you to use. If you pass it, yay, super excited that you did that, but you need to take one more step and let us know that you passed the resolution and send us a copy. Then we can add you to our total. We can get you on the website and celebrate you along with all of our other RevolutionNJ communities. Now, I do want to highlight one other development, and that is that we do ask our proud partners and our communities to give us updates, and we just annually, not very frequently, just once a year, we do ask you on the proud partner side to give us an update, let us know briefly what you've been doing and what we can help publicize for you. So we did send out a mailing to those 200 proud partners, asking you to send us that update on what you're doing. It's a simple to fill out form, so you don't even have to create some document. You can just use our form. And we are very, very eager to get those back because then we can help promote what you are doing through our social media, through the calendar on revnj.org. So please do respond. Now, you'll see in the email, if you have become a proud partner in the last 6 months, you don't need to send us an update because you presumably when you sent, you can if you want to, but presumably when you sent in your application, you gave us an update a few months ago. So, but please do fill out those forms. We really want to hear what you're doing, and we want to help everyone else know what's going on in your organization as well. As I mentioned, momentum is building, lots of different opportunities now popping up, and this is one of them. The State Library has just announced a special program for the 250th. They are having a webinar tomorrow, so sign up now to learn more about this. We're just thrilled that the State Library is hopping on board with some great opportunities for everyone. Well, okay. One of our biggest priorities here is reaching that critical K-12 audience. This is near and dear to my heart. My colleagues know, maybe because I'm a child of the bicentennial, and I know, because I was a high school student during the bicentennial, I know what an impact the bicentennial had to me as a young person. So we are very, very eager to engage our students, that critical K-12 audience in the 250th. And we are delighted that the Department of Education is equally excited to work on this with us. So Want to let you know that the Department of Education will be, as I mentioned earlier, they'll be doing a big broadcast this spring, probably in April, to all schools across New Jersey to get them to register to be a revolutionary school. That's going to be their special logo down there that you see. And there's a whole menu of programs and resources that schools can tap into as a revolutionary school. And it ranges from the Foundations of Democracy program that you see there on the right. That is really aimed at that K to grade 5 age level. We have the History Happened Here program that I touched on earlier. We'll have a traveling exhibition that schools can borrow. We've also got online resources that they can tap into. So they're just a broad range of ways in which schools can be excited and engaged with this anniversary. So please do check that out. I do want to also add, because I forget whether we're going to say it later, so let me say it now so we don't forget. Let me add that one of the tentpole programs of America 250 is the Revolutionary Field Trip, or America's Field Trip, I should say. That was a tremendously successful pilot that they ran last year. New Jersey had, we think, more winners than anyone else. And we want to encourage you to spread the word about here we go. It is coming up here. We do want to encourage you to spread the word that now is the time for students to put in their applications for America's Field Trip. The reports back from the students who won last year and were able to go on those field trips are spectacular. They loved it. So it's free. An individual student can do this and is encouraged to do this, and you've got time to do it. So please, if you've got students in your personal life, if you have classes coming to your site for programming, help us spread the word, because we once again want to see as many New Jersey students take advantage of this wonderful opportunity. All right, we'll go back. Thank you, Mark, for being so speedy and hopping around there. Now, I mentioned earlier that we really want to help you spread the word about your activities. The best way for us to do that is to get the information for you so we can get it on our events calendar at revnj.org. So please use this as a resource for yourself to see what's going on around the state, but help us help you by getting your events on that calendar. You can send your information to the email address right there, and we'll get it on the calendar. You also are going to, the other way I was going to mention that you can help us know about your events is by doing your annual report as a proud partner and including the information about your upcoming events in that annual report. So one way or another, please share that information so we can help you spread the word. Now we do, and I jumped the gun a little bit with that America's Field Trip, but we do have a couple of other opportunities at the national level that we want to make sure everybody knows about. Now, Amy, I see, has raised her hand. Let me pause just a minute and see if I can answer a question before we forge ahead. Amy, do you want to unmute and share your question with us? Did we lose Amy? Okay, Amy, if you want to pop in, just by all means, chime in again. Great. So another great partner that we've identified at the national level is Keep America Beautiful. They have launched a very exciting initiative, which is to create the greatest American cleanup ever as part of the 250th. So we really want to encourage you to sign up to do that. We met just this week with Sustainable New Jersey Clean Communities, I should say, and Keep America Beautiful. And you can see there are a couple of opportunities coming up this winter and spring that you can take advantage of to learn more about the different opportunities to get involved in these kinds of wonderful community engagement activities. We also learned from New Jersey Clean Communities that they have funding available to help support some of these cleanup efforts. So really want you all to take note of that. It's something that a municipality can do. It's something that an organization can do, certainly something a county can hop on board with. It's a great way, another great way for us to mark this great anniversary that we have in front of us. And if you want to get better connected with what's going on around the nation by joining your colleagues at other historic sites and museums around the United States to learn more about getting ready for the 250th, here's a great opportunity for you. AASLH is offering 250Con. It is virtual, so you don't need to travel, don't need to get a hotel room. Easy to register. I will say that AASLH is doing, I think, some of the, if not the best work in the history community in terms of helping all of us prepare for this big anniversary. So this is yet another opportunity that, you know, we certainly want to share. I want to encourage you to take care of or take part in if you can. Now, our next slide is America's field trip. So I already told you about that. We'll hop forward to Two Lights for Tomorrow. There's another effort underway with some of our colleagues around the nation. And this is it. The idea is to mark the shot heard around the world, and we will mark that 250th anniversary of the battles of Lexington and Concord, April of this year. So there is an effort nationally to encourage each state to light two lights in their state capitol building and encourage other government buildings to do the same. So we're working on this state level. We'll keep you updated on what will be happening here officially for Trenton. But in the meantime, if you'd like to learn more about it and take part, you can check out that link that you saw in that previous slide. And by the way, we will share this slide deck too, so you can catch up on all the details here. And then finally, we do want to share a couple of really major events happening right here in New Jersey. Of course, Jockey Hollow Encampment, May 3rd and 4th. If you have not seen the new PBS episode, Treasures of New Jersey, Jockey Hollow, please check that out. And then put on your calendars the reenactment of the Battle of Monmouth, which this year will be June 28th and 29th. And then we may have gotten some questions in the chat here, and we will catch those in just a minute. And then finally, from me, we do want to kind of get a date on your calendar. This is a very exciting one for us, and one that we think and hope will be extremely exciting to all of you as well. We are working with the Ken Burns team, as we've come to call them. They are, you may have seen already the press release about the new Ken Burns documentary series, The American Revolution, that will debut on PBS in November of this year. We are excited to host Ken Burns and some members of his team for a special program up. We are projecting it'll be up at NJPAC in Newark on September 17th, which is Constitution Day. It is also going to be the official launch for DOE's Revolutionary Schools program. So we are really working hard to get high school students there, but the general public is also going to be invited. So please put that on your calendar. There'll be more information coming very, very shortly, and we hope you all can attend. We hope you can bring your friends, family, rent a bus and bring up members of your historical society. Whoever it might be, we want to welcome everybody to what will be a very, very special program. And let me note that we keep being told that New Jersey is featured extremely prominently in this documentary. So I think it's going to be a real exciting series for the nation, but especially for us here in New Jersey. So with that, Mark, I'm going to hand it back to you, and we will welcome our guest speakers, and we will circle back to questions at the end here.
And thank you everyone for hanging in there. I know that was a lot of updates. We wanted to just get everything on folks' radar. And like Sarah mentioned, we'll have a Q&A after the presentation. So if folks have any questions we're happy to stick around and answer any of them. And you can always reach out to us and use the chat too. We'll try to get all the questions in the chat. But it's my distinct privilege to introduce Linda Epps, who I know from many different collaborations. She is our RevolutionNJ advisory chair, advisory co-chair, but also has been working on a special project that's happening this year on April 27th through May 4th in Newark, New Jersey. So I'd love to introduce Linda and turn it over to her while we listen on one of these amazing programs that are going to happen this year.
Thank you, Mark. And hello to everyone. Thank you to Mark and to Sarah and their team for inviting me. In every human breast, God has implanted a principle which we call love of freedom. It is impatient of oppression and pants for deliverance. Words written by Phyllis Wheatley, who lived during the same time as Cudjo Banquante, the African royal, enslaved soldier and businessman who was brought to what we now know as New Jersey shores at the end of the first quarter of the 18th century. He was brought here and he served in the household of Benjamin Coe, right in Newark, New Jersey. And for those of you who know Newark, Benjamin Coe's plantation was located pretty much where the Star Ledger building stands now on Washington Street in Newark. Why are we honoring this man, Cudjo Banquante? His triumph of the spirit really is that. As I mentioned, he was a royal prince from what is now current day Ghana. During the Revolutionary War, he substituted as a Continental Army soldier, serving at among other places, Brandywine, Germantown, the Springfield, Monmouth, Valley Forge, and many, many more. At the conclusion of the war, he was given his freedom. He was manumitted. And at that point, he was about 70 years of age. But did he sit down in his land and smoke a pipe? No. He started a horticultural business that specialized in selling fancy and what were known as fancy and exotic plants during that day. He is Newark's first Black businessman. We are going by tax records that we have, and was very successful with his fancy and exotic plant business. He owned a home, raised a family who inherited his assets, and he is buried at what was the Trinity Church, Episcopal Church yard, which is now the current site of the New Jersey Performing Arts Center. The Daughters of the American Revolution, along with the Newark History Society and several other organizations, the New Jersey Historical Society, 1804 Consultants, and Rutgers University, have decided to honor Cudjo's life and legacy for 7 days, from April 27th until May 4th in Newark. And all events are free and open to the public. On May 3rd, the plaque honoring Cudjo and his family, who are, as I mentioned, are all buried there, will be placed. But we have a number of activities that I'm just going to kind of race through, keeping track of the time as we talk. So let's go to the next slide. Some expected attendees, and I should mention to you that there is a book on Cudjo Banquante, and the author of that book, Kofi Ayim, has spent the last 15 to 20 years trying to trace the descendants. As I said, we know that Cudjo Banquante arrived in New Jersey somewhere during the late part of the first quarter of the 18th century. We know that he was from the Akim tribe of Ghana, But we also now know that his descendants are in current day Ohio, Akron and Cleveland in particular, but other places in Ohio, plus other places all over the country. What we are doing is his descendants have been part of our planning committee, and along with representatives from his tribe, his royal tribe in Ghana, some of them family members, they have all been participating in creating an exciting 7 days worth of programming to honor this man and his legacy. This slide just shows some of the expected attendees, and I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end of my talk. So why are we doing this? He was a patriot, very much a patriot and an entrepreneur. I think that Phyllis Wheatley's words could have been written in tribute to Cudjo. We would also like to raise the awareness of this Black role model whose life story is an inspiring example. Cudjo worked very hard. He was very trustworthy. Some of the words used by his master to describe him were tenacious, physically strong, a good sense of mental acuity, strong in his faith, very smart and very trustworthy. The Cole family actually left Cudjo in charge of their land and their property when Newark was invaded by the British during the war. This family has been torn apart for 300 years, but I should add that because he was a royal, very much the same thing that we do for those who lost their lives during 9/11, his tribe in Ghana has been reading the names for nearly 300 years of those who have gone missing from the tribe, and they never found out what happened to them. Cudjo's name has been read every year for almost 300 years during that ceremony. It will not have to be read in 2025 and hence going forward, because we now have been able to tell his tribe about his accomplishments in what became the United States of America. We can go to the next slide. Okay. Again, why are we doing this? To show how the quest for freedom was achieved by a diverse group of people. We tend to think of the patriots, those names that have become everyday for us: George Washington, Alexander Hamilton, Thomas Jefferson. But there were a number of people who were involved in our fight for freedom. Some of them were of African descent. We also want to enable Americans, especially those in New Jersey, to see themselves in our country's revolutionary history. Cudjo was not the only person of African descent who fought into the war. There were many. And we like to illustrate how even after the war, for those who received their freedom, and even for some of those who did not, that Black enterprise was alive and strong from the various earliest days of the founding of this country. And we'd also like to indicate that although we know of the horrors of the Middle Passage and of the institution of slavery, there were some who had this instinct, this innate ability to survive soul-crushing circumstances and to overcome those circumstances and successfully raise a family that, and their history goes from that time period to the present. So it's to educate how available it is. So I'd also like to talk a little bit about one of the highlights of this. Well, the big highlight is the opening on the 27th of April at the Newark Museum. But we are also having a 2-day symposium at Rutgers University in Newark in the Newark Express Complex. I've given you some of the panels that will be held on those days. Our theme is from revolution to reparations. And you can see that the panels are all labeled in keeping with that theme. I think there's another slide on that. Okay. All of the 2 days are open. There will be registration. We're offering continental breakfast, lunch, and 2 afternoon receptions. Again, all events are free and open to the public, but you will have to register, and registration will begin in March, and we'll do a big media blitz around that. Among the anticipated guests for this will be Courtney Bryant, who was one of the McCarthy Genius Grant Awards winner from 2024, who is creating an original suite of music honoring Cudjo Banquante and his family. Lonnie Bunch from the Smithsonian, who most of you know was born in Newark and raised in Belleville. We also have Howard Dotson, formerly head of the Schomburg Institute, who was head of the Georgetown Project on Slavery in Georgetown University. Ryan Haygood for the New Jersey Institute of Justice. Jonathan Holloway, president of Rutgers University. Salamisa Tillett, a current Pulitzer Prize winner from the New York Times. They will all be presenting either during a conversation or serving as a keynote speaker during that two-day conference. Back to the museum, you can go to the next slide. You can skip this slide. Okay, I'm sorry, that was the end, but I did want to tell you that during the week, every single day between April 27th and March 4th, there will be some sort of activity. Free African-American history bus tours of Newark. The Greater Newark Conservancy is planting a garden with those plants that Cudjo would have had in his garden, and they are curating an exhibit around that. The Newark Public Library is doing a series of genealogical research courses teaching you how to trace your own family history. The New Jersey Historical Society will be doing a program showing some films, most notably The Price of Silence, which some of you already know about, which is about slavery in New Jersey. But they will be showing parts 1, 2, and 3. Part 3 is to premiere towards the end of February. And that will be a continuation, of course, of parts 1 and 2 and the information covered there. I'm trying to remember who I am leaving out, but it's going to be a wonderful week. We're hoping that all of you will venture into Newark for at least 1 or 2 of those days to commemorate and celebrate the life of Cudjo Banquante, and to learn more about Newark and its history during the Revolutionary War from then until the present, and to learn about the African-American presence, both during revolutionary times and up to the present, how those people have contributed to the success of the American experiment.
Thank you so much, Linda, and I didn't mean to rush you through that one. We take full blame for having such a packed schedule. It's just a lot of exciting things coming up. As you probably have noticed, there's been a little bit of a shift in our sort of energy concerning the 250, with a lot of folks starting to really pick up gears and start planning. I know we've been in it since 2018, but it's great to see that a lot of folks around the state are getting excited and around the nation. One of these is Bergen 250, which is one of our 21 counties, which we were discussing earlier, who is doing planning for the 250th. It's my pleasure to introduce Vivian Davis, who has been working with us in a number of ways, sitting on our working group panels, but also being one of the great reenactors that we use in our Tavern Talk series. And I know that she's here excited to talk about what Bergen County's up to. So I pass it off to Vivian.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you to the Commission and Crossroads and to Linda for all of the announcements and presentations. It's been really enjoyable listening to everybody. I'd first want to give a quick shout out to my Bergen County colleagues. I believe I saw Todd Braisted and Carol Restivo from Bergen County Historical Society, Eric Modell from River Edge, and Kevin Trumbull from Fort Lee. So appreciate you all being on the call. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see, which screen am I sharing? Sharing screen 2. Okie dokie. All right, looks like everybody can see that. So, Bergen 250 was born in 2022. We had been talking about doing stuff for the Revolution and the 250th for a very long time. I've been a reenactor since 2005 in the American Revolution space, so I've been waiting for this my whole life. So, we started having partner meetings with our cultural and historical groups and associations back in the fall of 2022. This was just kind of getting everybody together to see what they wanted to do and see how the county and the Division of Cultural and Historical Affairs, which is what I'm a part of, can help them with. And so it was early on, 22, so everyone had some real fun ideas, some out there ideas, some doable ideas, getting the president here. I mean, all sorts of things. So since then, we have been visiting at all different kinds of cultural and historical sites around the county for these meetings. Our first meeting was here at the county building. We've been to the Carney House. We've been to Newbridge Landing. We've been to Mawa Museum. And that was just to give our partners a chance to visit other places in the county that perhaps they would never go to unless they were invited to a meeting. So it's been a very fruitful partnership with all of our partners. And our next partners meeting is actually next month at Fort Lee Historic Park. So we're excited to get started in the new year with that. Let's see what else. There's been so much. It's almost been a blur working with the state and working with our local partners. A resolution was passed by the Bergen County Board of Commissioners in winter of 24 to get us official. And not long after that, our Bergen 250 site was born. And this took about 3 months of collaborating with our IT department and creating this pretty snazzy website, if I do say so myself. Our landing page has photos from different sites around the county, a little intro about us, and our revolutionary sites in the county. At least some of them. There have to be more placed on here. And which is nice, it gives you a little map of the sites that are relevant to the anniversary. Our resources page is my personal favorite page, if I were to have one, because it gives folks a chance to see what kind of databases we have, resources that we offer. The Bergen County Archives is down on our first floor, so you can go to that link to go online to see what we have in terms of 18th century county paperwork. Also, we put a link to the Bergen County Historical Society. I didn't mention the Historical Society, so hello, Bergen County Historical Society. I know they're on here too. We worked with the Hester Schuyler Colfax chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution to create a burial list of all of those who were a part of the American Revolution that either lived in Bergen County or fought in Bergen County, which included Passaic County. But that's neither here nor there because Passaic is its own county now. Anywho, below that, we have a list of Bergen County connected American Revolution books, some by Todd, some by Kevin Wright, who was the former director of Steuben House. And then below that is a traveling exhibit, if you will, a traveling vertical banner exhibit that we created last summer that is 5 panels that explain what was going on in Bergen County during the Revolution. And it talks about Yorktown, it talks about the retreat, Baylor's Massacre, and the people of Bergen County. Now, these banners are available to loan out to our different sites, schools, if they would like. So we give everybody that option. Also, under resources, just came out this past October is our traveling trunk program, which is for grades 4 to 6. If they're unable to visit a site, we bring the site to them. So as you can see on here, it includes some facsimile paperwork. It includes uniforms that they can try on, a tricorn hat. There is a lesson plan on the website and will be in the trunk as well for these folks. So teachers will have a week to rent the trunk and then bring it back to the site, to the county site, and to be available for the next teacher. From there, we have an events calendar. I'm busy putting in events for the next couple of months. And then our blog on our website talks about Bergen County specific stories and ideas, and Todd Braystead has been lovely in sharing a lot of his knowledge with us for that. So along with our website, which we're very stoked to have. Is a new initiative. It's our Passport to History program. It will be a lot like the National Park Service's passport that you get stamped. I am a big fan of that. So it includes all of the relevant American Revolution or 18th century sites that we have in the county. And that includes cemeteries, that includes markers, street markers. So we do say to people, just be careful, don't get hit by a car while you go and read the marker. So right over here, you see some examples of the stamps that we are going to have made. And this is kind of a sneak peek for my Bergen County folks because they've not seen this yet. And a map. This is all about to be finished and will go to print. It'll be a nice 5x7 booklet, pocket size, so you'll be able to bring it with you to different sites. For example, this is one of our pages of the Baylor Massacre site and includes a little snippet, a little history about the site. This site does not have a stamp. Visitor information and whatever notes the child or adult would like to take of the site. Now, what do you do with folks that are at a site but don't have a stamp? Well, this actually is a very exciting update that we just launched this week. It's a GPS mapper. We use a software called Engage by Cell, and through this is this GPS mapper. It's through a QR code, and it pinpoints where you are, your GPS location. If you would like to go, let's say, to, I don't know, let's go to Hyler's Landing, where the British landed in November of 76. You click on here, and it pops up as a location to get to. You can also get Google Maps to get you there. But what is nice about this is that you can add a quiz, if you will, like a little question that can only be answered if you visit the site or unless somebody tells their friend what the answer is. So you go there, you answer, and that will detect and that'll tell us that you have actually visited the site. So we're very excited to get this going. I just started plugging in points and markers last night. So I put in about 20 markers so far. There's plenty more where that came from. Over here, you see cemetery, historical marker, and historical home. So if you click on historic home, only historic homes come up. Unclick that. If you want to just go to cemeteries today, there are 2 cemeteries that you can visit so far, which is the French Burial Ground in New Milford and the Old Spring Valley Burial Ground in Paramus. So this is a very exciting update from Bergen 250 that we cannot wait to show the public. Oh, what else? I don't want to keep you all any more than we need to be here. I know people are hungry probably for lunch. Let's see. This month especially, I've been meeting with as many municipalities, historic preservation commissions, and history societies as possible. There are 70 municipalities in Bergen County, so I'm trying to get to all of them. I've so far reached about 12. 12 in a month is not bad. So we're working on that. Every July 4th at one of our big county sites over Peck Park, we're doing our Star Spangled Spectacular, which includes tons of music, fireworks, a little American Revolution encampment. What else? I have my cheat sheet here. We are working with the Washington Rochambeau folks to aid them in perhaps doing one of these revolutionary runs that Carrie was talking about earlier. Besides that, that's all I have for now. Until the next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Vivian. I'm going to
Let
pass
me-
it off to Sarah and Carrie for final words. I know we are over time, but I'm sure folks have any questions who wouldn't mind sticking around to answer them.
Yes, I think we've answered all the questions that were in the chat. We have answered in the chat, except the one that just came in. Wanted to share. Oh, okay. I'm sure one of us can put a link to the vision video in the chat, but it is available on the RevNJ website. So if you go to
Yeah, Sarah,
rev.org.
if I can interject
Yes.
here, we are going to be, we actually talked about that today when we were meeting with Mike Keeler, our comms person,
Right.
and he's going to be putting a more visible link on our website, but we wanted to debut it here so that you would all see it before it went really widespread. So we're going to be putting a link, and we'll be happy to send that out as well.
Looks like
Any last questions?
there's a question from Roy.
Hi, Roy. What can we answer?
Here from the Armed Forces Heritage Museum. Prior to this whole campaign being realized for next year, America 250, about 2 years ago, I commissioned one of my people in the organization to write a book on the Revolutionary War. And it was a fundraiser. And it's geared for elementary school level, I'd say 4th, 5th grade. It's got illustrations and it relates some of the history of the Revolutionary War that I don't know if the Rev New Jersey organization has got any funding, if there's schools that might be interested in making this available to students the next school year. You know, I have a supply. We still have a supply of them. Obviously, I can get more printed up, but I don't know if there's interest there or not, but I offer it up. It's called Seeds of Freedom, and it features an American eagle as the superhero in the book. And the actual name of the superhero is called Freedom.
Well, that's great.
So
Hey,
I don't know. I offered it up as a possibility. I don't know if there's a budget for that sort of thing as part of the America 250th campaign, but it's something we can offer as a possibility that would go out to schools.
Well, that's fantastic, Roy. Here's what I would suggest. One of the things we're doing with DOE is creating lists of resources for teachers to turn to. If you could send me an email so with the link to that publication so I can share with DOE, because that's one way that we can spread the word, because we will be sharing lists of resources. We don't right now have any specific earmarked funding for something like printing more copies of that. We just have our regular New Jersey Historical Commission grant program, which is open and accepting applications right now. But if you send us the information about it, then we can try to get word out to teachers as a possible resource for this.
Right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, that'd be great. Other questions? Roy just reminded me of one thing that let me add to all of this. We have seen some confusion out there with America 250. So let us just be really clear about that. America 250 is the national of the U.S. Semi-Quincentennial Commission's nonprofit entity, is America 250. You should not be using that logo. Let's make sure that you all know that. You don't have authorization to use that logo. We don't have authorization to use that logo. And we have heard from other states that folks who have been using it without authorization have gotten some cease and desist letters. So don't use the America 250 logo. I know it's really pretty, but don't use it. Use our logo as a proud partner or as a RevNJ community. That's what we want you to do. If anything changes, we are in conversation with America 250, and we may in the future have an affiliate logo that we can share with you for them. But right now, don't use it. Okay, any questions?
Yes, Sarah, Kevin.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Hi. I just want to make one comment. I just had a little bit of a great research opportunity, and we dug into how the 300th anniversary of New Jersey was celebrated at Fort Lee Historic Park, and we're working on looking at how it was celebrated for the bicentennial. And it all commenced with one of the people on the call, Philip White, digging into his grandfather's newspaper collection. And the state library had such a wonderful collection of state newspaper archives that we were able to get any number of really insightful newspaper articles about the events. So it was really use the resources of the state library, please, in doing your research, even if it is not primary source, it's still good insight material. And the second thing was something I brought up at a historical commission meeting, which was the New Jersey National Guard's desegregation efforts in the 1940s prior to the national military being desegregated. And I would like to see that situation explored and a possible marker put up on that. So we've been in touch with the Division of Military and Veterans Affairs about this issue. So I'd appreciate it if you could consider following up on that, please.
Sure, thank you, Kevin. Absolutely. And then we've had some questions in the chat I see about logos. So let me just reiterate that. Hey, if you want to create your own logo, and I think Ted's got the Monmouth County logo up there that they've created right now. You can take a look at that. And we know that a lot of different groups have done that. You, of course, can do that. We do want to connect you to the statewide effort too. So as Mark said in his response, please become a proud partner or a community, RevNJ community, and use that maybe in conjunction then with whatever logo. You can use just that if you want, or if you want to create your own logo, please, we'd love it if you would use both so that everyone knows that you're connected to us as well. All right, oh, hey, what's that, Claire? Is that a logo that you have developed? You are muted.
Sorry, this is from Middletown,
Nice.
Great,
and
thank you.
I'm not sure if you can see it, but it does say 250th.
Thank you, that's great.
And
And
I don't know if you
Kevin,
can see the shirt.
you are all ready to go, all ready to go.
And there's also a flag.
Oh my goodness, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. And to Kevin's point too, he's absolutely right that the state library does have, and I believe digitized, the reports from New Jersey's bicentennial activities, as well as the report from New Jersey's tercentenary or 300th anniversary activities, and you can access those. So I believe you can access them digitally. So it's all out there. By all means, dig in. All right. Anything else? Carrie, any last questions? Hopefully we got
Nothing else
one.
for me. I actually have to jump. I've got another thing I've got to get to.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much. And thanks for staying a few minutes extra.
Thanks, everybody. So glad to have you here today.
Absolutely.